Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what is the most fucked up thing a person you know has done? He slept with his son's long-term girlfriend. Like his son's first love. Told his son like it was no big deal. He told us about it at work, and said his son was being a bit of a bitch about it. We then watched his life fall apart as both his kids cut him out of their lives. Dude found out he became a grandpa from his older daughter via an email with no pictures. As you can imagine, sleeping with his son's GF was the worst thing I'm aware of that he's done, but he was a horrible person generally speaking. I bet he was shocked when his family started treating him like the piece of shit that he is. I'm glad that his family excommunicated him. My mother is a shit human being. I'm the only kid who has cut her out of my life and won't put up with the bullshit. She is 100% shocked/appalled that I could ever treat my own mother like that. So you're right, that guy was probably actually surprised. The long-term girlfriend is no prize either. This is one of the few situations where you can legitimately be more upset with the person you're so cheated with than with yourself. My cousin was killed because a guy decided he'd kill himself by flooring it into another car on a major road. My cousin died, and his girlfriend had to undergo multiple extensive surgeries. The guy survived with minor injuries. While suicide is bad, the people that choose to take a complete stranger with them just makes my blood boil. Congrats, you're a murderer now. For real. I don't condone suicide, but like, why don't they choose to drive into a wall or into a lake or something? Why bother including innocent bystanders in your choice to die? What the actual fuck, why not just drive off a cliff? Friend's dad drove a muscle car full speed into a telephone pole after his wife died. If you want to kill yourself, it's a dick move to take someone that doesn't want to go with you. My friend's dad stabbed his wife in a heated argument and blew up their house while he, dad, was still inside. Heard the explosion from my own bedroom. Luckily my friend and his sister were elsewhere. The local newspaper articles were hauntingly graphic about it. I'm pretty sure my uncle brutally murdered his first wife. It remains a cold case, but there's a heap of suspicious circumstances and evidence that points to his guilt. Someone even wrote a book about it. He was the last one to see her alive, and the first to find her. She'd been stabbed repeatedly in the face. You're a murder like that seems oddly personal based on actions. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but usually stabbings are more likely to be someone incredibly close to the victim. The brother of a girl I dated years ago almost hacked his ex-girlfriend to death with a machete and then tried to kill himself by overdosing. They both survived and I believe he's still in prison. I guess it's a good thing he's a complete failure. I read hacked his ex-girlfriend and thought, that's not too bad, then read to death. Hacked his ex-girlfriend. Alright, what he do, steal her Facebook password. To death. Wait, how do you electronically kill someone? With a machete. Oh fuck. What a roller coaster of a statement. I know a dude who shit down a chimney. Impressive as it was fucked up. He was probably blowing smoke up his ass. Do you know where that saying comes from? There's a type of pump called a bellows, and it was believed that if you used one to literally blow smoke up someone's ass, you could revive them from drowning. In Britain, these bellows were stationed around bodies of water like rivers, ponds and pools. I have to assume one person jolted up when they were passed out, not dead, as in to react, what the fuck are you doing? And people of the time ran with the idea. I was getting out of the army and had put back over $70,000 for a home for my family. My mother got my banking information and took every penny for drugs. When I tried suing, my family disowned me. When I was a drill sergeant, I'd see lots of young people with a parent on their bank account. I'd advise them to remove anyone other than a spouse. Because I'd seen parents take their young soldiers' money many times. I'd advise them to remove anyone other than a spouse. Instructions unclear, got married and bought a Challenger at 29% April. I know someone who was doing a semester abroad in China during college. She let her boyfriend at the time fly out from the US for a week-plus visit, knowing she was going to dump him the second she saw him. She did it because it would have been too hard to dump him over the phone. Edit to add more details as I'm remembering this, the guy did not speak Chinese, and he didn't have enough money to change his flight, so he just kinda bumbled around China for a week being miserable. Oh oof, that is not nice. OMG, once I had a girlfriend come visit me for a 4-day visit at my grandmother's house when it was full of family. It was during the summer when we were both in college. We go for a walk right after she arrives and she breaks up with me. I'm thinking, wait, what? What am I supposed to do with this person for 4 days around my family? I went on a full court press to change her mind or at least get an explanation. It was out of the blue. Eventually it came out that on the way to the house she had sat next to a woman on a train and had a conversation with her that caused her to conclude she should break up with me. She never articulated any concrete reason why, though. It was like she told the woman she had some doubts, who doesn't? And the woman said, trust your feelings, and that was that. She did change her mind. We had a great weekend, and we dated for another 6 months or so. Eventually, she broke up with me again, and this time I was like, yeah, fine. I think she was trying to get me to change her mind again. She acted a little obsessed with me for a few months after I accepted it so quickly. I was done, though. There was a decomposing dead cat stuck between a fence and a wall next to the gym in my school. If physical education was our first lesson, we had to wait in front of the gym until someone fetched the keys. My friend Jason went to fetch the keys and left his bag. This fat class bully Toby used 2 sticks to pick up the dead cat, opened Jason's bag, and put the cat in. Jason hasn't noticed anything until we were in the locker room. He opened the bag, saw the dead cat, dropped the bag, cat fell apart, soup of rotten cat insides crawling with maggots splashed to the floor. Class was cancelled. Cleaning company had to disinfect the locker room. What was that guy expecting? Hope he got detention. We really need better punishments for bullies. For example, the bully should have been given cleaning equipment, gloves/mask/etc, and made to clean it up. Edit, I can only understand detention if there was no proof and it's just one student's word against another. WTF. You guys didn't tell him when he came back. Probably only saw the end result and maybe the gossip, that's my bet. My aunt and uncle are rather wealthy farmers. They have spent the last several decades building up new divisions of the business for their kids to run and eventually inherit. One of the big expansions was going from simply raising beef cattle to handling the butchering and selling the meat themselves. Anyway, for the butcher shop they built a beautiful $1 million shop and sent my cousin's husband to butcher school to get all his licensing to be the operations manager while my cousin would be bookkeeper. They never did a thing to earn it and were essentially handed a golden ticket. It's a little complicated what happened next, but after a few years my aunt/uncle started getting negative feedback about how the place is run. When they spoke to my cousin's husband they offered him more money thinking it was a motivation issue. They were already overpaid and could afford their own $1 million home. The husband made a sarky retort that he already makes that much. That raised red flags. They ended up looking at the accounts and things seemed fishy. They went to the business after hours and took the bookkeeping files. The husband found out and drove to their house to essentially scream at them in rage. In the end it turns out they had embezzled over $1 million by cooking the books. They got kicked out of the family business, with no legal repercussions and a fat buyout bonus, and generally have little to do with any of the family. My aunt and uncle have made attempts at reconciliation because they want to see their grandchildren, but have been thus far rejected. It's insane because they were handed everything and it still wasn't good enough. They were going to inherit the business and they blew it. At least the embezzlement was discovered before he inherited the business, because he would have flushed that before too long afterwards. 100%. Greedy people just can't help themselves. My ex-girlfriend's 2 brothers did 3 and 5 years for fraud. Their dad basically handed them an online business selling a range of chairs. They started collecting the money and not sending orders out, rather than just building up the business slowly and taking some of the profits. The older brother already owned 3 properties and they took somewhere near hundreds of thousands of pounds before it all kicked off and they got arrested. I don't know WTF they were thinking. Oh, and the main brother/director had already crashed businesses and been blacklisted, no chance of loans etc. So he used my ex's, 18 at the time, name as director and she got dragged to court too. Thankfully they took a plea deal accepting fault and got her off, but she lost her head during this and flew to Amsterdam without telling me. So I got left with all the bills at the house, 2 cats and no girlfriend. Also she sold my car. Good times, Reddit. Good times. Lol. I've worked for my dad's small company for 14 of the 17 years he's been in business. I still feel guilty asking for an occasional advance. Shit, I was in the same place as you. I always felt guilty asking for enough money to survive on, because he was always telling me how broke the company was. The best thing I ever did for my family was get out from under him. Best of luck to you.